When I first got into this and started covering programs like Alcoa and Maryville, they talked about the difficulty of repeating and how hard it is, even at places like that. What have you learned about repeating and how difficult that is?
Well, I was really going into last year. I was really worried about that, but there is a side of it that you know you don't want your kids to back off. You don't want them to be satisfied. You got that side, but you also have the side that you've been to the state championship game. You've been there. You've experienced it, and you'll do whatever it takes to get back there. That side of it comes into play a lot also. So it's not nothing we really talk about at all. Matter of fact, we had a meeting at the start of spring in January, spring semester, with this football team, and we don't want state championships to be the way we're defined. That wasn't why I got into coaching. That wasn't any part of the plan, building the program. We want us to be defined by the way we care about each other and the way we love each other, and that we have 120 guys in the locker room that's aligned and fighting for the same goals, because you don't get that very often in the world today.
To have that depth, though, has that helped in your missions to replace certain guys that y'all lost to graduation? I mean, y'all lost some really key players off last year's team.
Yes, we did. And, some of those kids you're not going to replace. You're not going to replace the C.J. Smith. You're not going to replace the Ryan Scott. But I really like what our kids are doing right now. Our kids, they know how to work. They know what it takes to get to where we want to go. They know our only goal is to be better today, be better than we were yesterday. And be the best that we can be on this day. And they're working really hard to do that. They know each day is very important. This is a really tight-knit group that have, some of these kids that's going to be playing this year have worked their butts off for 3 years and haven't been able to get on the field for various reasons. And now they have an opportunity, and they're taking that opportunity very seriously.
Can you give me a few names maybe on the offensive side of the ball who are going to be newcomers that are probably going to open some eyes to their abilities this year?
Well, Tavion Ray and Messiah Wynn at tailback, they have really good springs. And it helps when you got your whole offensive line back intact, basically, and your tight end back. But they have really good springs for us, and that's continued in the summer. I think you're going to see, and Antoine Burdine has played really well for us the past couple of years, but I think there's something different about that kid right now. He's one of the best competitors I've ever coached. He's working his butt off. He's got goals that he's trying to reach, and he's doing everything he can to reach them. David Drada played last year for us. He's back. Two guys at wide receiver that's really jumped out is Jacob Daggy, Jack Hankins, and James Mills. Those three guys, we're probably deeper at wide receiver than we've ever been. I don't know if we're as good on the top end of it, but we are deep there, and we got a lot of guys that we think can go make plays.
Defensively, I know there's some guys back, but can you kind of speak to that group and maybe some newcomers that have impressed so far?
Probably the biggest key we got back is White DeRoach. He did not get the credit that he deserved last year. He probably had the best year. It's not probably. He did have the best year that a nose man's ever had in our defense. It was unbelievable with sacks and tackles for loss and tackles. Having him back to anchor our defensive front is huge. Jack Keith back at linebacker. Two new faces. Davis Neely played some for us last year when Anderson Smith was hurt, but Davis Neely and J.P. Peace at outside linebacker. I've never had two outside linebackers together that can run like those two. They're both very physical and can move. And then on the back end of our defense, basically our whole secondary is back intact, so that's going to be huge for us.
Quarterback-wise, where do you kind of stand with that going into the latter weeks of July?
Well, I've got a good problem. I got three quarterbacks that I think are playing really well right now. I have four. Ian Crook had a hip injury this summer in basketball, and he's been out and probably going to be out for a little bit. But If I had to say right now, Parker DeBon's probably ahead. He's a senior and been in our offense for 3 years. Jack Harrison, the sophomore, is playing really well right now also, and Cannondale, the junior, is playing well. So I've got a major decision to make on that, and those guys are making it hard on me.
Talked to a lot of 5A coaches today, and I had a business lunch the other day, and somebody was trying to make me predict, who would come out in certain classifications, and I couldn't come up with anything in 5A, and it's been like that for the last few years because it's so deep and so wide open. Just how difficult and deep is it in 5A in East Tennessee?
It's hard. I mean, you just look at our district. I think in the last 7 or 8 years, the state champions came out of our district, our region. When it's Central, Powell, us, it's tough. It's a battle every day. Every region game, is going to be a dogfight. They know us, we know them. So every game is going to be huge. Then, you throw in all 3 of those teams out of the region schedule. I mean, they're awful. Playing 6A teams, playing Alcoa. Within our region, Hall's made a big jump last year, and I thought Heritage made a big jump, and they're only going to get better.